I never thought I'd be the girl telling this story. My name's Brittany and I'm 30. I guess I should start by saying I didn't mean for things to end up like this. But that's what everyone says, right? Derek and I met at a friend's birthday party about 5 years ago. He was standing in the corner, looking a bit uncomfortable but trying to act like he belonged. I was drawn to that quiet confidence. He worked in some tech field. Never really understood exactly what he did, something with computers. I worked in retail management at the time, which basically meant I told people what to do all day. The first year was perfect. He was attentive, sweet, and then actually listened when I talked. We moved in together after about 8 months. That's when things started to change, though I didn't realize it then. Derek was always careful with money. He had this savings plan, retirement fund, the whole 9 yards. I was more of a live-in-the-moment kind of girl. He'd suggest we split bills 50-50, which seemed fair since we made about the same, but I started noticing he always had money left over at the end of the month while I was struggling to make it to payday. I never told him, but I resented that. Why should I struggle when he was doing fine? So I started forgetting my wallet when we went out, or asking him to cover groceries just this once until my next paycheck. He never complained, which made it easier to keep doing. Around our 2nd year together, Derek started therapy. He came home one day talking about boundaries and emotional availability and communication. I nodded along, but inside I was rolling my eyes. Another thing to make our relationship more complicated. In public, I was the perfect girlfriend. I'd hold his hand, laugh at his jokes, tell everyone how amazing he was. But in private, I'd criticize his clothes, his job, his friends. Nothing was good enough. He'd suggest a restaurant and I'd find something wrong with it. He'd want to watch a movie and I'd complain about his choice. When he'd get upset, I'd say things like, "You're being so dramatic," or "It's not that serious." He'd back down every time. Looking back, I should have seen the signs that he was changing, growing, but I was too focused on myself. That's when I met Jason. He worked at the gym I started going to. Unlike Derek, Jason was spontaneous, fun, didn't care about savings accounts or retirement plans. He lived for the moment, just like me. We started talking more, then texting, then meeting up for coffee. Derek never suspected a thing. He trusted me completely. Jason made me feel alive again. He'd surprise me with weekend trips, expensive dinners, things Derek would never do because he was saving for the future. I started staying out later, coming up with excuses about work or girls' nights. Derek noticed something was wrong, of course. He'd ask if everything was okay between us. I'd reassure him that everything was perfect, then turn around and complain to Jason about how boring Derek was. The affair went on for months. I got careless. I stopped deleting texts, left my phone unlocked. Part of me wanted Derek to find out. Part of me wanted him to fight for me, to show me he cared. But he didn't, not until it was too late. He came home early one day and found me on the couch with Jason. Nothing was happening. We were just talking, but it was obvious something was going on. Derek didn't yell. He didn't get angry. He just stood there, looking at us with this calm expression. "I think you should leave," he said to Jason, his voice steady. Jason looked at me, then back at Derek. "Man, I'm sorry. I didn't know. Just go," Derek said, still calm. Jason left quickly, leaving me alone with Derek. "How long?" he asked. Sitting down across from me, I panicked. "It's not what it looks like." "Really? Because it looks like you've been cheating on me." The word hung in the air between us. Cheating. It sounded so sordid. So unlike me. I can explain. I started, tears welling in my eyes. "I don't want an explanation." He said, "I want you to leave, but this is our home." I cried. Real tears this time. "Where am I supposed to go?" "That's not my problem," he said, standing up. "Be gone by the time I get back." He walked out, leaving me alone in our apartment. Our perfect, boring apartment. I called Jason, but he didn't answer.
Typical.
I was on my own. I packed a bag and went to a hotel. The next few days were a blur of crying, calling Derek, begging him to talk to me. He wouldn't. He just sent a text. "We need time apart." Time apart turned into separation. Separation turned into him asking me to move out permanently. And through it all, Jason was nowhere to be found. He stopped answering my calls, blocked me on social media. I was alone. Derek and I met to divide our things. He was calm, reasonable. I was a mess. "I don't want this," I told him, crying. "I want to work things out." He shook his head. It's too late for that. Brittany, you made your choice.
But I love you.
I insisted. I always have. If you loved me, you wouldn't have done what you did, he said, his voice breaking. You wouldn't have lied to me for months. I tried to explain, to make him understand, but he didn't want to hear it. I moved into a small apartment downtown. Derek kept the place we had shared. I tried to date, but it was useless. No one compared to Derek. No one was as kind, as patient, as loving, and I had thrown it all away. I saw him a few months after we split. He was with a new woman. She was pretty in a natural way, not done up like I usually was. They were holding hands, laughing about something. He looked happy, genuinely happy. I wanted to go over there, to tell him it was all a mistake, that I still loved him, but I didn't. I just watched as they walked away together. That's when it hit me. I had lost everything. My boyfriend, my home, my relationship, and for what? A guy who disappeared the minute things got tough. I tried to reach out to Derek again, but he wouldn't respond. He had blocked my number, my social media, everything. I was completely cut off.
Months went by.
I got a promotion at work, but it didn't make me happy. I bought new clothes. I got a new haircut, started going out again. Nothing helped. I was miserable. Then one day, I ran into one of Derek's friends. He told me Derek and his new girlfriend had moved in together, that they were talking about getting engaged. I smiled and said I was happy for him, but I wasn't. I was furious. How dare he move on so easily? How dare he be happy without me? I know it's irrational. I know I have no right to be angry, but I'm angry at Derek for not fighting harder for us. I'm angry at Jason for using me and then disappearing. I'm angry at our friends for taking his side, but mostly, I'm angry at myself for being stupid enough to throw away the best thing that ever happened to me. But I'll never admit that. Not to Derek, not to our friends, not even to myself. It's easier to be angry than to face the truth. I messed up. I messed up big time, and now I'm paying the price. Last week, I got a wedding invitation. Derek and his girlfriend are getting married next month. Part of me wants to go, to show him what he's missing. But I can't, because I know I'll see how happy he is, how in love, and it will kill me. So I'll sit here alone in my apartment, scrolling through pictures of the man I lost, wondering how things could have been different if I had just been honest with myself and with him. But I'll never tell him that. I'll never admit I was wrong, because even now, after everything, I still can't take responsibility for what I did. And that's the saddest part of all. But wait, there's more, because life has a way of coming full circle. And karma, she's a real bitch. About a month after Derek's wedding, I got laid off. The company was downsizing, and my position was eliminated. Suddenly, I was unemployed with rent to pay and bills stacking up. I had been living paycheck to paycheck for years, never saving like Derek had. Now I was in real trouble. I tried to find another job, but nothing was working out. The economy was tough, and without Derek's support, I was struggling. I had to move out of my apartment and into a smaller, cheaper place. Then I had to move again when I couldn't afford that rent either. I ended up in this tiny studio apartment in a bad part of town, working 2 part-time jobs just to make ends meet. Meanwhile, I'd hear through mutual friends how well Derek was doing. He got promoted at work, bought a house with his new wife, even started traveling like he'd always wanted to. They were happy, really happy. One day, I ran into Derek at the grocery store. He looked good, really good,
Fit.
confident, successful. His wife was with him, pregnant with their first child. They were glowing. Brittany, he said, surprised but polite. How are you?
I'm fine.
I lied, trying to make myself look presentable in my worn-out clothes. We made small talk for a few minutes. Then he said, well, it was good to see you. Take care of yourself. And just like that, he was gone. No anger, no bitterness, just polite indifference. It was worse than if he had yelled at me. That night, I cried for hours. I had lost everything. My relationship, my home, my job, my dignity. And it was all my fault. But I still couldn't admit it. Not really. Instead, I blamed Derek. If he had been more fun, more spontaneous, less focused on the future, maybe I wouldn't have strayed. If he had fought harder for me when I cheated, maybe we could have worked things out. If he had just been different, none of this would have happened. I know it's not true. I know I'm the one who messed up. But admitting that means accepting that I destroyed my own happiness. and I'm not ready to do that. So I'll keep blaming everyone else. I'll keep telling myself that I deserve better than Derek, that I was too good for him anyway. I'll keep pretending that I'm happy alone, that I don't need anyone. But deep down, I know the truth. I threw away the best thing that ever happened to me because I was selfish and immature. And now I'm paying the price for that mistake every single day. And the worst part, I'd do it all again, because that's who I am. That's who I'll always be. A person who can't take responsibility for her own actions, who blames everyone else for her problems, who destroys the good things in her life because she's never satisfied.
So here I am.
30 years old, alone, unhappy, and still blaming everyone but myself. And I don't see that changing anytime soon.